Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Smells Like. I'm Josh. So good to see you. Today is Saturday, which means it is time for my fragrances of the week. This is the fourth week of doing these episodes. So let's just get right into it with the fragrance that I wore on Sunday. This was from a decant. This is one of two fragrances that I've really been testing for the last couple of weeks to see if they'd be worth getting a full bottle of. And I'm actually still on the fence with this one. This is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Nothing to see, it's just a decant. But I've gone through almost all of this 5 ml decant. I left a little bit in there just kind of for reference so I can go back to it. I don't know if I need to maybe get some more, like another decant or some more samples of this. I really like the smell, but to me it doesn't perform. I can't smell it on myself. Other people couldn't really smell it, and so you know, that kind of took away a little bit. I love the smell, especially the first hour or so. The smell on my skin, it just really is a nice smell, and I think it would really work well for the cooler weather. You know, late fall, I think even into the winter, this would be a good one, but I'm still on the fence. Part of me wants to get a bottle of this, but I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. The other fragrance that I've been testing this week, kind of for the second week in a row, the only other decant on the list is from Chanel, and this one's a different story. I think I am convinced that I definitely need a bottle of this. This is Chanel's Egoist. Not to be confused with Platinum Egoist. This is the original from 1990. This is a really interesting, sort of avant-garde, very Chanel though fragrance. It opens with those Chanel aldehydes. It's got sandalwood. It really is an interesting dark fragrance. Very masculine and somewhat avant-garde. This was apparently Olivier Polge's favorite masculine fragrance that he ever made in his whole career with Chanel, so that is pretty awesome. This thing almost 30 years old, and still really smells modern, smells really doesn't smell dated at all. So I'm actually really excited about this one, and I'll be ordering a bottle this week. On Tuesday, I had a new bottle in that I'd kind of been testing a little bit, but gave it its first full wearing on Tuesday. This is L'Instant de Guerlain, the Eau de Parfum. This is a 50 ml. Sorry about the light there. The sun keeps changing on me. Kind of looks sort of angelic over here, or just washed out, if you want to think about it. This comes in a 50 ml size. In North America, the full presentation of this only comes in a 50 ml. You can get a 100 ml tester on some of the online discounters, but for whatever reason, the 100 ml size of this, if you want the full presentation, it'll, you know, come in the retail box and with a lid and everything, doesn't exist around here. I did see that they seem readily available in Europe, but for whatever, Guerlain does some weird stuff with their distribution in North America. I don't know the rhyme and reason to all of that, but so this is only available in a 50 ml. I have gone through a lot of this already just in testing it and then in wearing it, because the performance in this, especially compared to the old Lidge, with this is kind of a new form of, they did away with the L'Instant Extreme and created this Eau de Parfum in this new packaging. So if you're a fan of Lidge, that's no longer being made. That's been phased out for this. I was really hoping that this would be closer to the original Extreme version in terms of performance. The smell is close, but the performance is just not there. I mean, you can see I've only had this for about less than a week, and I've already used a ton of juice just because I kept on spraying it. I call it wishful wearing, where I just keep on putting more and more on, trying to get it to perform, trying to just, you know, give me the experience that I want, being able to smell it on myself, and man, it just wasn't there. Spraying this on my clothes, I found I could get somewhat of the experience that I wanted, and I'm still happy to have this. This is can be had at online discounters for like $25, $30. So it's still worth having, and it's still a quality scent from Guerlain, and still stands out next to any other designer fragrances on the market. I just was kind of spoiled by the original Lid with its monstrous performance, and man, they've kind of taken that away from this. A little bit of a letdown, but still a solid fragrance and something that I'm glad to have picked up. On Wednesday, I went with one of my favorite fragrances for fall this year. You know, if I look back at the end of fall and choose like my top 3 most worn that I actually wore the most and enjoyed the most this fall, you know, we're only about halfway through the fall season, but I can already tell you that this would be one of my most worn. Chanel Allure Homme. This is the original Allure Homme. Kind of started this whole tonka trend, but this has a lot going on. It's got tonka and vanilla, some woods, some fruits, some spices. This has a freshness to it, but it also has a little bit of depth. I really have just been enjoying this. It has the Chanel quality, but it is a really accessible, easy to wear fragrance, and I don't know what it is about it. There's something special about this that I just have been really enjoying. It wears so well on a chilly but sunny fall day, really like today, where it's like in the 40s or 50s. Maybe the wind is a bit blustery, but the sun is shining, and so you get that kind of sparkly feel even though it's cold. This gives you a kind of sparkly feel with some cooler ingredients, along with some warmer ingredients that warm this thing up in the cool weather. So Allure Homme, really been enjoying this. One of my top picks, I think, for fall of this year. On Thursday, I wore a fragrance that I haven't actually worn that much. I picked this up at the end of summer, and being more of a cold weather fragrance, I actually hadn't worn it. I was just kind of waiting for that to happen, and this was a blind buy for me. This fragrance gets a lot of good reviews in the fragrance community, and it's from the company of Loccitane. This is Eau de Parfum, and Eau de Parfum is a vanilla, tonka, and cypress fragrance. It also has some spices like cardamom and pink pepper. And it also has kind of a fresh, almost soapy underlying texture. I think that's part of the L'Occitane DNA, that, you know, this is also comes in a deodorant and in a soap and body wash and lotions. At least it used to. I heard that this was being discontinued from the stores. I don't know if that's true or not. But you can pick this up for a really nice price. If they are still available on the L'Occitane website, I think they go for like $48. I picked this up for I think around $50 on eBay. And this is just a really nice vanilla fragrance. It isn't like a sweet or gourmandish vanilla. It's really dry. It has that cypress wood, which lends this kind of dry, almost piney wood. It really has a nice holiday vibe. I think it kind of reminds me of Christmas just because of that spicy, piney texture along with that warm vanilla. There's a little bit of that tonka bean, that kind of texture that tonka bean gives underneath that vanilla, giving it kind of a different kind of a vanilla texture underneath the actual vanilla that's in this. This really has a nice longevity, although the projection is quite soft on this one. I really bathed in this yesterday and couldn't smell it on myself a whole lot, but it's such a quality fragrance for such a low price. I still really do enjoy this one, and it projects enough to be, you know, something that I still enjoy wearing. So I'm really kind of just getting to know this one. So let me know your thoughts on this one if you get good performance, because I found that this lasts and lasts and lasts, but that I couldn't smell it very well on myself. Still better though than the Lalique ADP in terms of projection, so still not bad. And the smell just really is something great. I apologize for the sun. There's kind of nothing I can do about it. You know, on with the show. So on Saturday, after wearing this sort of lighter vanilla fragrance, I really felt like I needed some high-performing vanilla. I wanted something intense to kind of satisfy that vanilla need. kind of wanting something heavier for the cold weather. And this is actually from the house of Alexandria, and you know, they're known for their clone fragrances or fragrances that are inspired by other fragrances, usually like high-end, niche, or hard to find or discontinued fragrances that they recreate in smaller and more affordable batches. But this is an original from Hani Hafez, the creator and owner over there at Alexandria, and this is called Hafez 1984. He kind of named it after himself because it's, I guess, a little bit of a signature perfume that he created himself. This has vanilla, a really nice dark tobacco. There's also some leather in this, as well as this really nice dried fruit accord that it opens up with. It kind of reminds me of a combination of things. That dried fruit reminds me a little bit of the opening of Jubilation 25, kind of that like blackberry and other dried fruits. It's kind of similar to that, and that dried fruit is really nice and rich. It has that vanilla underneath it, some tobacco. That vanilla and tobacco combination, of course, reminds me a little bit of Tobacco Vanille. But this is definitely a fragrance that stands on its own. It's its own thing. Really enjoy this one. Wow, what a pleasant surprise from Alexandria Fragrance. Hani Hafez really outdid himself with this one. And for a company that's known for their clone fragrances, this is a solid original release. That brings us to today, Saturday. The fragrance that I chose to wrap up the week is from Lalique. This is Noir. A couple weeks ago, I wore the extreme version, which takes this dark vetiver and woods and kind of dresses it up a little bit with some incense. But this, the original, is just such a great, high quality smelling fragrance that you can get for so cheap. I mean, I think like $30 or $35 you can get this 100 ml bottle. It's a gorgeous bottle. Lalique always makes nice bottles. They're known for making glass, and then they, for whatever reason, decided to make some fragrances as well. This is borderline niche quality, and again, can be had for such a affordable price. This reminds me a little bit of Sycamore from Chanel. Not as quite of high of quality, and doesn't have as much bright and light in it. There's a little more going on in terms of the Chanel, but wow, this is a really nice alternative, something that's more affordable. It's dark, it's mysterious. Love this fragrance. One of my favorite designer level fragrances of all time. It's Noir from Lalique. So that does it for this week, the 4th week of doing these fragrances of the week. I really hope you've been enjoying this series. If so, please hit that like button. It really helps with the channel. And if you'd like to do this again sometime, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again here for the next video on the Smells Like Fragrance channel. Hey, thanks so much for watching.